everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just recently I talked about my birth. If you're interested, I will link that video below. But today we will be talking about my birth plan. Yes, I had a plan written on a paper. It was two-sided, so it was long. It was with me when we went to give birth in the hospital. I decided to do a plan because it gave me a peace of mind, because we had a doula and I had a boyfriend. It was something that we got to go through before so that they knew exactly what I was expecting, what choices I would want to be made if I wasn't in the position to decide things in that moment. I looked at some examples online, then I just decided how I want mine to look at. So in the very beginning, I have what you could call a statement. Something for the doctor in the hospital just to have some recognition of where I'm coming from, what I've prepared for, who she's dealing with. And it says, I am giving birth together with my support person, who is my husband, and a doula. I have attended pregnant women's yoga, workout classes, family school lectures, both alone and with my partner, and read books on the subject. So they know that they're dealing with someone who has done the research, who knows what is going on, what she wants, and I'm not just a clueless young woman giving birth for the first time. I had made my birth plan into sections, and the first one was what I called the opening period. This is before the pushing stage, so everything since the beginning of labor, like when the first contractions start, all the way up to the part where you start pushing the baby out. Now, I was really wanting an unmedicated birth, as natural as possible. So number one, I want to wait as long as possible to induce labor. So I want everything to begin naturally, and that's exactly what happened. I want to be active during childbirth, which means I do not want to be told to be seated or lying down in the hospital if there is no bigger reason for it. I would like to use a bath if there is a possibility in the hospital, which there weren't. I want to use an exercise ball that was just there so that they would know that in the room there should be the ball when I want to use it, but I ended up not using it this time. I do not want early opening of the amniotic fluid, so I didn't want it to be used as an inducing method. I like to use things I bring to create natural oxytocin and relax, such as I had electronic candles, essential oils, and music. I would like to move around during the CTG examination if possible. The next section was pain relief methods, just because I felt like it needed to be a thing on its own. I wanted to be as natural as possible, so priority is given to massage by my doula or my partner, bath, I had a heating bag or a pillow, breathing techniques, yoga exercises, so different positions that I could be in. Laughing gas was a last option. And then I stated directly, I do not want to use drugs, medications, such as epidural. So please do not mention it to me, do not offer it to me. It's a funny thing actually, my doula told me to figure out a safe word. It would be great if it's consists of 2 words, because I so strongly wanted natural labor, but I don't know what it's actually like to be in labor until I'm there. So she told me that a lot of people change their mind during the labor, just to be sure when to push back to me and be like, no, we can do this without. And from what moment should my doula and my partner give in and be like, okay, she really wants some extra support from epidural or something like that, let's give it to her. When I ask for it with a safe word, then they will be like, okay, this is it. If she wants it and if it's possible, then they will do it. Right until the day I actually gave birth, I could not think of a good word or a 2-word phrase. And then she was just like, okay, never mind then, let's not force it. And I guess it was a sign, because we never even had that type of a situation where I was begging for make a C-section or or give me epidural. It never came across my mind like that. And yes, that was also there because I didn't want the doctor in the hospital to be coming for me, offering those things. Now, the next section is birth, so the pushing and all of that. I wanted the room to be as quiet, cozy, and dim as possible. Now that had a little but there, since I happened to give birth in the middle of the day, it wasn't possible to make it dim, but we did make it as cozy and quiet as possible. For the coziness and everything, I also stated that I want to use my electric candles, I want to use my essential oils, music, etc., but I did not use any of these at the hospital. These were only used at home. I would like to test different positions myself, which means I don't want you to tell me to lie down on my back and just be there because I'm telling you to do so, and choose the one that suits me. And if it suits me, then I would like to try to give birth in a bathtub. But since we were in a room that did have a bath, but the bath was broken, that option wasn't on the table. I want to listen to my body and wait for the natural urge to push, which means I don't want to start pushing before I actually want to push, and I don't want to be pushing between the urges. Like the same with contractions. You have the contraction and then you have the moment of peace. Same with pushing. And when it goes away, I do not want to be pushing. I don't want you to be forcing me into pushing, or I don't want to start the pushing stage before I actually feel like the baby is coming out. I do not want interventional methods, items such as the forceps and the vacuum until there is a very dangerous situation and reason for doing so, which then you would have to explain to me with great detail. I don't want an episiotomy, and if you don't know what it means, then it's a cut they make into your perineum skin to help it open up for the baby, unless it is justified by a really dangerous situation. I want that baby to be placed on my skin, in my arms, for skin-to-skin contact immediately, and that's exactly what happened. Now, after the birth of the baby, so the few moments in delivery room after I have just pushed out the baby, what will happen? I want to keep the baby on my stomach or in my arms as long as possible. I want my support person, which means my partner, to cut the umbilical cord. Once it has stopped pulsating, I would like the baby to be dried only, but not washed immediately after birth. I would like to find and choose the position for the expulsion of the placenta myself. I do not want to interfere with the placental birth, which is what it's called when the placenta comes out, or to speed it up. I do not want an oxytocin injection after birth, which is what they do to the mother sometimes after giving birth. Again, without a serious reasoning. I want to breastfeed as soon as possible, so as soon as I'm ready, as soon as the baby is ready. I want the father to be in skin-to-skin contact as soon as possible. And then in the end, we would like to stay together in a family room if possible, so if they have free rooms. Now, I also made a section directly for C-section, because it wasn't in my plan at all. So if it were to happen for some reason, then the information was right there. I only want a C-section as a last resort if me or the baby are in serious danger. I would like detailed information about the surgery for me and my partner, and a long detailed explanation why should I need it. Obviously, if the circumstance allows it. Again, if it's an emergency, I'm literally practically dying there and they're rushing me, of course you don't have to give me a lecture of the surgery. If possible, again, I would like some time to discuss the surgery with my support person, so my partner. If possible, I would like to be in skin-to-skin contact with the child right after the C-section. But if it's not possible, for example, I am going to an emergency C-section and I'm under so hard drugs that I'm not awake, then I want the baby to be taken to the father immediately for skin-to-skin contact. Next section is breastfeeding. I would like to receive support and advice about breastfeeding. I do not want to give formula food to my child without a justified need. If additional feeding is required for some reason, I would like to feed my child from a little cup, syringe, or a spoon, because giving a bottle right in the beginning could be bad if you want to proceed breastfeeding in the long term. And activities with the child after being born, I would like to give him a vitamin K shot, and I want to give him the tuberculosis vaccine. And in the end, to be kind, We ask you to stick to this birth plan as much as possible, but we understand if it is necessary to act outside the plan due to the safety of me or my baby. When I'll be having my second baby, I will take the same birth plan, and there are things that I want to change there, but I'll be talking about these things maybe when the time is right. Now you can let me know in the comments, did you have a birth plan? If you didn't, then why? If you did, what was it like? How much did it get used? Or if you're planning to have a birth plan. If you have any questions about it, you can leave them down below also, and I will answer you. And I'll see you in the next one.